Hi, my name is Bob Samuels. I'm co-founder of CEO of Tech Connector. Tech Connector is a best-of-breed ABM and lead generation marketplace and quality assurance platform for B2B marketers. I'm also co-founder and host of the ABM Leaders Group. The group consists of some very sharp B2B marketers, agencies and advisors, and solution providers. And I have two of my favorite ABM leaders here today. We'll be discussing the importance and pitfalls and challenges of actionable intelligence and insights for the ABM or ABE programs. If you can introduce yourselves, Leslie, if you can start.
Sure, happy to. Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Leslie Allure. I am the Global Vice President of Growth Marketing for Avanti.
Excellent, thank you. And Rohan?
Hey, hi, this is Rohan Salgarkar here. I'm one of the founders for Avira Insights. We are a marketing and sales consulting organization based out of Pune. We're one of the pioneers in the process, which we have labeled it as account-based market intelligence or ABMI. And happy to be here.
Thank you both. So what do you consider to be actionable intelligence, or what are your favorite sources, Leslie?
Well, I think that the best way to put together actionable intelligence is a combination of first-party and third-party information, and it will be made up of both qualitative and quantitative information, which is a hard thing to come by. It takes a lot of elbow grease, a lot of work. Oftentimes you need some good partners to help you with that, and you need to have a really strong partnership with your sales organization because data is dynamic, right? The information you have at your fingertips is constantly changing. And I feel like the recent situation and the pandemic has only accelerated that. So, having a perpetual feedback loop with sales and your data sources is paramount.
Excellent. And it sounds like that was one of my follow-up questions, I guess. So you actually triangulate between, the external and internal data to come up with a picture.
Absolutely. I don't think that you can rely wholly on what you have internally, nor can you rely wholly on what third parties tell you is true. And I've actually had these conversations as recently as this week where, you get on the phone with somebody, a sales leader, and they're like, oh, well, our team has terrible data. We need to go find a different data vendor. And I'm like, look, the data is all the same. It's a commodity. Nobody is going to magically have information that somebody else doesn't have, maybe a nugget here or there. But the reality is that it's going to change constantly. It needs to be, supplemented, and it needs to be analyzed with what you know to be true, what your salespeople are experiencing, how you see people interacting with your marketing. So that's the first party aspect. To really put together a true view and make the data mean something to your organization.
Very good. Rohan, what do you think about what's your favorite actionable intelligence?
So actionable intelligence from a market research point of view has a little different meaning. We are on this side of the table where we also build that intelligence. So from my perspective, I would say it's very important to first define an objective for which intelligence is going to be consumed. So intelligence for a product director versus that for a marketing director versus that for a sales director is very different. What we have seen that, when we have come across research reports where the entire process of gathering intelligence comes into perspective, the users are actually the ones who tell us that, okay, this was the most critical data, or this was the most critical information or intelligence that they could probably use. So for a salesperson, an intelligence around an opportunity is an actionable intelligence. A product data director would be using information which is describing the competitive attribute or product attributes for his competitor products and the market that he's trying to target. So for me, we have always seen that, one data has different facets that have been kind of used or kind of been referred to. So actionable intelligence for me goes along with the objectives that have been defined. So if you have a very clear-cut objective, a data intelligence can be very well mapped according to for you to take actions around it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, actually. In fact, I would take it even a step further and say, how will you use that data? So you mentioned, triangulation, Bob, and I would take it a step further to say it's also about, synthesizing and distilling information down to those key pieces, those nuggets, which are most important, because no marketer and no seller can operate with every data point we could possibly give to them. So it's up to us to say, okay, based upon what we're trying to achieve and what we're going to do with this information, here are the most important data attributes for us to focus on.
Excellent. And so I guess at the end of the day, I think the idea is to get intelligence to be able to understand why someone will buy from you, or how would you want to position it for them? How would that work?
So from my perspective, Bob, actionable intelligence revolves around multiple, buckets or multiple checkpoints. And as you have identified the entire intelligence, let's say it's intelligence about one particular customer or a product, the entire journey of that one product will require different levels of actionable intelligence. So at the start, the data intelligence is different. At the stage where you are launching that product in the market, where you want to understand who's going to be the end user, you're defining your target audience, or even gauging the total addressable market. So at that point of time, that actionable intelligence could be different. So for us, it is very important to see how the data journey is and to what sources you are referring at each and every level of that journey. So your primary sources could differ. Like, for example, I'll give you, where you just want to describe a market, let's say smart appliances, you are going to have an understanding of the total appliances market at step one. Example. Then you want to find out what is the total market for the IoT chipsets that are going to go in these appliances. So at every stage, the data intelligence changes within the same department, but within the same teams or within the same person. So that is the kind of evolution we see with actionable intelligence as well.
So it sounds like there's intelligence around accounts and also intelligence around the market.
Absolutely, absolutely. So within an organization where your target account is, when you are looking at a different department around the same product, one is working on, say, the marketing side of the same product, one is working on just defining the supply chain management for that product. So the intelligence could be different for one single product by the different departments that you're interacting with.
Yeah, I mean, let's take that to a practical example. When you think about a marketing department that is working in concert with a product management department and a sales organization, there's lots of information that you need on a market and on a set of customers that you believe to be your ideal customer profile. And the product management and the product marketing teams, they want to understand, how does this fit into the current market ecosystem? They want to understand, what is the total addressable market that this product can deliver on, and what's, who's vended and unvended? Is this going to be a competitive replacement in every circumstance because everyone has this product? Or is this something that's completely new and you have to convince people that they need it and why? So there's that layer. And then when you take it down, for my teams, I have the growth marketing team. We're working very closely with sales. What we want to understand is, who are the companies that meet the best fit for this product in this moment based upon the story we have to tell about this product, right? Because it's not just about selling it, it's about what's the play, and you can't run every play simultaneously. So you get super focused. And then you say, okay, what are the most important account attributes? If you're selling software like we are, it might be, what's the size of the company? That tells us the revenue potential that even exists within that particular account. And what are the different tiers of the buying personas, and what does a buying group typically look like? And what are the pain points that each of those people within the buying groups care about? And then you get to what I like to call precision marketing, which is the step beyond account-based engagement, which is about engaging with the actual people in those accounts and what do they care about. And you have to understand specifically who those people are. So you can see there's this whole tiering effect, and everybody's peeling off layers of that data for their own use cases and hopefully bringing it back together to drive revenue.
I couldn't agree more. I think one of the things that we have seen changing is the persona level intelligence that has become a priority for a lot of marketeers that they want to have the messaging personified to a level where they're understanding the personal attributes and the professional side of an individual when they are targeting people. Because I think the human connect has kind of become a little stronger ingredient in intelligence today, where people just do not want to have a very hard sales approach. They definitely want to know a little bit more about not just the company and the product, but also the person to whom they're selling. So I couldn't agree more with you. And I think precision marketing, the word sounds very impressive, because if you kind of bring that level of precision in a marketing effort, you probably will not waste any bullets, and it will have that kind of a sniper approach that you would want.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does competitive intelligence fit in? Do you analyze the competitors and see the strengths and challenges and so forth against those?
Most definitely. I mean, it's part of your understanding of the account, right? So you need to, and of the market. So in the market sense, you need to understand who are the competitors and what are the strategies they're using to win, right? We have a pretty big competitor. They're called Microsoft. Don't know if you've ever heard of them, but understanding the approach that they take is kind of important to us. Understanding how we fit in the unique differentiators and value propositions that we have. And again, then you take it down to say, okay, well, these are the types of companies that might actually derive more value from our offering versus theirs. And this is the pains that those companies and those people have and what they experience. And you need to understand specifically what those individuals might be experiencing with that competitor. And you also need to be able to really articulate the positioning. There's also another level of competitive intelligence, which is literally understanding whether somebody has a competitive product, right? So what is their install base? That can be important to know. And even better, when's their contract come due?
So you identify what I've heard it called firmographic data. What do they currently use? What does their tech stack look like currently? And is it compatible with yours or a competition or whatever?
Exactly. Or do they already have one of our competitors and we got to convince them to move to us?
Yeah, exactly. And this sounds like this is all done by the marketing team. So sales is somewhat involved, or?
Sales is highly involved on our side. So we have multiple kind of tools we pull together, multiple lenses we apply. And I'm not going to pretend like we've cracked the nut on this perfectly. We all know that there is information and knowledge that lives in the heads of individuals that it's really hard to get down. And we do use tools like Crayon, from your competitive example, to try to crowdsource from our sales organization, competitive information that we can then share across the organization. But that's a constant reminder and learning and encouragement and incentivization process to do. So it's kind of we need to supplement that with information that we can get from other sources, and that's where marketing comes in.
From building the competitive intelligence, what we have seen is every perspective matters. So if I talk about competitive intelligence for, say, marketing, and we are trying to understand the strength of a particular product's competitors, comparing different competitor products, the easy way to say is that we know what each one of them are doing at a separate benchmarks that are there: pricing, channel strategies, growth, market share analysis. So these are certain conventional intelligence parameters that we have seen as a part of a competitive intelligence strategy. What really matters is the perspective. For example, if you are looking at Microsoft as one of the competitors, building a competitive intelligence is not just speaking to the CIO and trying to understand his perspective of how Microsoft has been one of the partners, or how this company engages with them. We have seen, and I don't want to name it a few, we have seen that there are companies who have got the opportunity to get penetrate into an account, but don't know how to build upon from there on. So the gap analysis, where the consumer is still not happy that they've got one vendor onboarded or one technology giant as one of the technology partners. But if you speak to a few people under the layer that actually makes the decision, you will find a lot of gaps. You will see that, okay, the digital transformation has not happened because people have not been able to identify the right opportunities to, let's say, transform or use IoT. And I'm sharing this as an example from one of the cases that we studied. We were doing this competitive intelligence for one of the companies, in the similar space of IoT. And we realized that, a pharmaceutical company has already onboarded a system integrator as well as a tech giant who's going to provide the entire infrastructure and the digital transformation that is required for their IoT processes. But they took 6 months just to identify which processes to get into the digital transformation journey, or where they could implement IoT. So imagine if somebody had got this intelligence, there could have, a lot of competitiveness built around whom to choose. And that's where I feel that competitive intelligence will go beyond just analyzing what your neighbor is doing, rather than speaking to the people they are targeting at the customer side. So the perspective matters. So in building such intelligence, I have seen this, that we speak to everybody, right from the CIOs to the product managers to the exact users who are going to be deploying these systems. And you will see that competitive intelligence is not just about, oh, this is a very competitive product. People will reject a vendor just because of poor, customer experience on the user interface, or poor training that has been provided. And you can see that, okay, 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, despite having the entire process of vendor evaluation, you will still see this company evaluating more vendors. So I think competitive intelligence will have multiple layers to be kind of unearthed as we move on.
Okay, well,
Couldn't
I
agree
think, yeah, I think we're running out of time. We have lots more to talk about. The nice thing is we're going to have just a little plug, a full ABM leader panel discussion on September 9th. So look forward to reconnecting with you and bringing in some more sharp folks for our discussion. Any parting words or thoughts for our audience before I let you go?
I would just say the job is never done. There's always more to learn. There's always more testing to do and always more data to be found.
Excellent. Rohan?
Yeah, so I feel that as we are moving ahead, I would want to bring out a very interesting learning from our short experience as building a company and a product. Is we have seen that the way customers have evolved, their needs and their requirements keep on changing. This entire change was, let's say, done in its own pace, but in the last 2 years, this change has gone dramatic efforts. Like a sales cycle, which was probably 20 days, has reduced to 14. A product which life cycle earlier was anywhere between 14 to 15 years, and we're talking about a big product, that has come down to say 3 to 4 years because of rapid technology intervention. So I feel that as a company which is at the crux of providing this kind of intelligence, we need to shape up pretty fast if we have to catch the bus.
Excellent. Thank you both. Appreciate it. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Leslie. Look forward to meet you again.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.